welcome. It's championship week, which usually means our viewership will probably be down. Not everybody made the championship game, so they might not need their fantasy football advice. But for those of you that are in here, congratulations. We're going to be in here trying to give you the best advice on the most crucial game of the year. So put your questions in there. We've already got a couple queued up, but Johnny, your first question, you don't have your bench to follow it up. So let us know your bench while we answer Cody's here. So he's got Devontae Smith with no hurts or Mooney, who looked good with the new QB last week. So I did kind of look this up before we started the show, and both of these guys did very similar last week. The problem is I don't know when Devontae Smith's production came. Did some of it come before or when Hurts was on the field, or was the majority of it when Pickett was out there? I can't 100% give you. I did watch a decent amount of that game, and it looked like
I think it's a safe assumption it was Pickens because Hurts was hurt on the 6th or 11th play of the game. So
was it? Because Barkley had their first two drives short because he already had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns when Hurts went down.
Yeah.
So it's probably with Kenny Pickett. He was targeting a lot of what's his name last week though. AJ Brown was getting focused. I don't know. Who would you be going here?
I'd go with Mooney. I think Mooney's more of a 1A and Smith is a wide receiver 2 in that offense. Plus, I really think the Eagles, I think realistically the Eagles have lost out on the 1 seed in the NFC. They're realistically locked into their divisional championship. And I think they just feed the shit out of Saquon Barkley to try to break that record. So I just don't see them throwing the ball as much as they need to. I don't think, as they play Dallas, right? Without CeeDee Lamb, I think they cakewalk that game. So I think they just feed Barkley like a mother in order to get him closer to that record. So I'd go with Mooney. He looked good. Penix looked pretty good too. So that's a fun game tonight with those 2 rookies going head-to-head.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of that game. I just saw the box score. Penix's box score wasn't impressive.
I watched the whole thing. So I watched the whole thing. I was interested in it, and I thought he looked like a rookie quarterback, but I thought he looked pretty good.
I guess I should read the question better. I didn't even see the bench in lowercase. I completely overlooked it. So it is in there. Okay, so let's break this down. So we already got a lot of these guys have played. Moore's already played. Burrow's already played. Obviously, not taking them out anyway. Who else has played? That's it, right? Moore and Burrow. And JSN. JSN has already played.
Sadly, yes.
Who did not give you a very good week. So your running backs, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs. Would we switch any of those out? No. No. So then you can only switch out Devontae Adams, and I could probably tell you that's going to be a no. No. Yep, wouldn't do that.
No, I don't think I would. Now, Adams is a bit banged up, and there is a very, very small chance that he doesn't go. And I don't know. Let me find the schedule. I don't know what time everybody plays, but if for whatever reason Devontae Adams can't go,
he's at 1.
It'd be Josh Downs over Adams, not over Adams, in place of Adams if Adams can't go.
As of last night, it said he is likely to play.
And that means he's going to play. I have him where he's my 11th wanked, right?
Wanked.
Holy, let me try again. I have Adams at 11. I just redid these before we jumped on. I moved Downs up, and he's 19th for me now. So not a big difference, but Adams definitely has that. We saw it, right? The 180 kind of upside. He's not going to do that against Buffalo, but he's easily going to be targeted like crazy because neither one of those guys cares anymore. Yeah. And you can throw on the Bills. So
Buffalo has not stopped anything. They're a very ideal matchup offensively to play against because they can't stop anything and they can score at will, which is a great combination for fantasy.
It'll be a hell of a playoff game if Buffalo locks up the 2 and the Bengals can slide into the 7 because that game might be 65-64.
Yeah, so I just don't see it. I think the Broncos get a free win next week, unfortunately, for the Bengals.
I also don't think the Giants can beat the Colts. So I think and I don't want the Bengals to make the playoffs, and I'm not here to piss people off, but there's so many unrealistic Bengal fans out there on this planet that I'm comfortable missing the playoffs.
Yeah, not the name joke. No names to drop, but yes, poor Burrow playing lights out this year though.
Joe Burrow, I agree, is having an MVP-like season. There's no doubt about it. But you cannot give the MVP to a quarterback who's leading a team that misses the playoffs. Because without that quarterback, guess what? That team still misses the playoffs. He didn't do shit for them. And as much as that sounds ridiculous, it's factual.
He did kind of start off slow too. Like he did start the year off slow. He didn't start off. He's
funniest is
the second half of the year amazing.
Oh my
he started off slow. Look against New England, week 1, he looked horrible. That's a game that they should have easily won. I mean, look at the Patriots this year, and there, you're in the playoffs. You're front runners for the playoffs if you win that week 1 game. So
yeah, and that was my survivor pick, Bengals. So that lasted long this year, and me and about 8 billion other people. But Burrow did start slow, but he also started at probably the best start of his career because he's been limited and hobbled with appendectomies and coming off injury and everything else. The poor guy's just not had the greatest luck out of the gate, but he's been unbelievable the last 12 games, 13 games. He's been
he's done an 8-game streak of 250 and 3 touchdown plus. I saw that
easily the best.
But Johnny, I wouldn't switch anybody out. And if it makes you feel better, I wouldn't have switched anybody prior to these games starting. Like you started the lineup, I would have started looking at your bench here. Seeing it wouldn't have mattered. There's no way I would have took JSN out and put in Josh Downs even with Joe Flacco throwing today.
And we didn't know. We didn't know at that time, right? Richardson was still questionable and limited.
Yeah. Ridley coming off a good game too. That would have had me maybe thinking about it. I wouldn't have done it. I would have kept JSN in there. So Yep. Keep what you got. The defense, I'm still keeping Philadelphia. I'm not taking any of the other ones off there.
Who's his bench team?
So his bench defense, he lists some that are on waivers, which is Indy, Las Vegas, Green Bay, Detroit, Washington. So
Indy's the only defense I have ranked higher than Philadelphia this week. So I would do that, but I think
Philadelphia might get 5 sacks today.
They could. And the reason I wouldn't make that move is, do you really want that to come down? I don't know. I guess you could play this card either way. But historically for me, in a championship week, I like to roll with what got me there. I make these last minute changes on Sunday mornings, and they almost always backfire on me. So you've got my 2 top defenses as options there. I think Bryce is right. I think Philly is just perfectly fine this week. I think that game's over by the half.
If it's not, it's Kenny Pickett's fault.
Could be, but I don't think they ask him to do much except turn around and hand the ball off.
He might run a decent amount today. I wouldn't see why not. My opponent has Tua starting. He's doubtful, so hoping does not sound like Tua's playing today.
I think it's a safe assumption that whenever you hear doubtful, you might as well just put it as out.
The
Dolphins have very
doubtful is like likely. Doubtful is the same as likely on the other side.
Totally, and I think that the Dolphins have an incredibly slim chance of making the playoffs. If there was a game that they could win without Tua, this might be it, because Cleveland is not going to score any points either. So take the under on that game if you're betting it, no matter what the line is, because that game could be like Thursday night's game was.
Yeah, I don't think they want to win either. I think Cleveland probably wants to be running for one of these. I mean, there's only really 2 quarterbacks that seem worth drafting to me, but
I think there might only be one.
I think so too. I'm not sold on Cam Ward. I think Shador is the only one worth having on a team.
I think this, not to go off topic, but I think this rookie class is full of guys that'll be backup quarterbacks. I think Sanders can be a starter, but I don't think
just be like it'll be Kenny Pickett's draft
It'll
class.
Be like the Pickett Ritter year, totally. That's what I think so too.
Yep. There's going to be plenty of good running backs and wide receivers. This is a really deep running back wide receiver class, though. That's what makes it a little bit more exciting. But
Yeah.
Quarterback, man, there's just, and even then, like for fantasy production, Shador probably won't be a huge fantasy production quarterback because he doesn't run the ball. So you'd have to take your gamble on Alabama's quarterback. I can't even think of his name. Jalen Milroe. Maybe.
He's going to be a running quarterback and not much. And I haven't done any rookie stuff yet, but I just wonder, does Sanders go 1?
Yeah.
Is he 101? He does?
Yes. Unless the only way that he doesn't go 1 is if the Giants win today and New England goes number 1. But even then, I don't see New England staying put at number 1 and drafting Hunter or whoever they want to draft. They trade
do the Raiders have a shot at the first overall pick, or did they blow that by beating Jacksonville?
They probably blew that. Yes. Yeah, they can't. New England would have to win next week, and I believe they play. I think they don't have an ideal matchup for that.
Well, they
play Buffalo. New England plays Buffalo next week, so New England would have to beat Buffalo for the Raiders to be able to jump them, even if the Raiders lose out.
Buffalo might sit Allen and a whole bunch of guys if they lock the 2 up this week.
They could.
He's already banged up.
I don't know if we could beat the backups. So
I just think I could totally see a scenario where the Raiders get the first pick, draft Sanders, and hire Dion.
Maybe.
They got to get the pick to do it. So
yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think the Giants win. The Giants are going to get it.
I
think the Giants are tanking for Shador.
It's rumored that the Raiders are giving Brady control of what happens going forward too. So
I've heard that he's got a very high influence, is what I've heard. They say or whatever.
See. That should be
Josh Downs and Jacoby Myers.
This is a good question. It's Jacoby Myers for me, but I like Josh Downs too. So I like them both. I have Myers at 18 and Downs at 19. That's how much I like these guys this week. It's just volume plays for me, right? Like there's 2 guys to throw the football to in Las Vegas, and there's a couple more options with Indy. I also think Jonathan Taylor has a pretty decent game today too. So that reduces Downs' volume a tad, but I think they're both like 10 to 12 touch dudes.
Yeah. Josh Downs had a good week last week because of the touchdown, but we got Joe Flacco throwing in they got Joe Flacco throwing in the ball again, and it seems like he's got a nice 10-point floor. Jacoby didn't do much last week. It was big Brock Bowers week. They got New Orleans this week.
They play New Orleans?
Yeah.
That's a good matchup for just about everybody.
Yeah, except if you want a guy playing the full game. Like, I needed Josh Jacobs to do what he did the first half and the second half, and they took him out because it was such a blowout last week, which sucked. But I'll go with Jacoby. I'll go with Jacoby Myers as well.
There's no sitting either one of those guys, though, right? No matter if you blow them out or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With Kamara out against, I don't know. I want to see what Madison did last week. Didn't Amir Abdullah do it again?
That's the problem for Madison, right? Is Abdullah's going to be the catching guy, and he gets a little bit of work on the ground. Spears has been.
Holy crap! Hold on 1 second. Madison had seven targets, 4 catches last week.
How many did Abdullah have?
That's a good question. Let me look. I did not. That threw me off. Abdullah, 6 targets, 5 catches. He had more targets than Abdullah, and the snap percentage is pretty even. Pretty even. But is Sincere McCormick back today?
He's on IR. He's done.
Oh, he's on IR. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snap percentage favors Madison.
It should. He's a better running back.
It's 57-43. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I think it would be if they were dumb enough to let me coach that team. I just think Spears is in a good spot. He plays Jacksonville, which is trash. He's going to get the vast majority of the work. Maybe Julius Chestnut gets a little bit. But both passing and running work for Spears. And he's had a good last couple of weeks. So
he fell into the end zone to definitely help because his yards per carry are horrible.
Yeah. In massive garbage time too, I think he scored. It was like anytime. It didn't matter. But
10 for 27 last week on the ground with 2 touchdowns. And they had 3 catches for 40. And the week before that, 6 catches for 87. Yeah, I'm going to go Tyjae Spears as well. Jacksonville's been scoring. Jacksonville's been scoring a decent amount too.
Yeah, I guess Spears
last
at
week
14.
the first half they were rough, but they kind of put it together in the second half.
That's Mac Jones.
Yeah, dude, he
Trying to
loves
get a
Brian
starting
Thomas
job
Jr.
somewhere. He does, and
He-
almost got me into a couple of finals, but not quite.
If he gets a starting job, he's running whatever team he has into terrible mediocrity at best.
He's not getting a starting job. There's only 30. Unless
he's a good backup quarterback, though. I think he's found his spot as a backup.
Do you know what I think is very interesting? I was thinking this yesterday when I was watching the quarterback position. It seems like almost every team has a decent backup quarterback now. And I think that's sort of like the wave of the future. Like you used to have the guys like Charlie Whitehurst that would carry a clipboard around for 12 years and do nothing. I don't think those guys exist anymore. I think those guys become the third emergency quarterback, but teams are going to have, because the quarterback position isn't aging out, but the talent coming in is exceeding the talent that exists. So you're going to have guys backing up like Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett and, you know, until this year, Sam Darnold, guys like that. Like there's good quarterbacks out there. I just think that's what's going to happen. But I have Spears at 14 and Madison at 23 this week. So I'm rolling with Tajay Spears.
I will also roll with Tajay Spears. Good evening,
Marco. You know, Marco, you've been a long time listener, Marco. And I was in 5 semifinals last week and I lost them all. So I'm blaming you for not helping me out with my lineups. But anyway. Castilla, my man. What's up, brother?
I want Saquon to have 200 yards today. Me too. And him to break Dickerson's record at the Giants next week. That'd be pretty legendary, wouldn't it?
I would really like him to break that record. I do flash back to when Adrian Peterson, I think, was like 14 yards away from that record, and the Vikings freaking took him out on third down or whatever it was. Just pissed me off. But yeah, I think Saquon's a special dude, and sounds like Dickerson would be quite pissed if he breaks it too, which makes me want him to do it even more.
Oh, did he? Is he getting all butthurt about it?
Oh, he's like, I don't think he's going to break it, and I don't want him to break it, and all this other bullshit. It's like you've had.
I mean, I wouldn't want anyone to break my record either. To be honest, I would probably be like that too. Like, hey,
who gives a shit? You're an old man, and you've had the record for 30 years or something. Just get out of the way. Nobody cares about you.
His name would get brought up significantly less though. That is like your legacy.
The only time it gets brought up now is like once every 15 years when somebody can come close to that record, which almost never happens.
Yeah.
So
or trivia, always in trivia or something like that.
Trivia.
Chig or Kincaid? Chig Okonkwo coming to life. Definitely.
Chig, baby.
I even said he's got a new quarterback. I didn't trust him last week. Boy, was I wrong. Didn't hurt me none because I still had Brock Bowers in over him, but I might lean Chig here.
I have Chig ranked 10th.
Yeah.
I've never had Chig ranked anywhere higher.
Yeah, Kincaid. I think Kincaid is a dude that is a really good offseason buy. I think that he getting injured this year hurt his potential momentum to get more with Allen.
Yeah.
And you know, I think he might be more of like a traditional, maybe takes the third year to break out kind of guy, which is fine. But
I don't know what to think about him because he wasn't that active before he got hurt either. And there's no denying he's got an incredible talent to him. Like I think
he's always making really good catches and stuff. I just think that he just needs to get involved more. I don't know. I think Dawson Knox being there as a veteran
a little bit. I think too that Bowers this year, Laporta last year, like it used to take tight ends time in this league to get comfortable and break out. And third year used to be the wide receiver thing and a little bit later for tight ends, but I can see Kincaid in year 3 being a rock solid option. So I agree with you. I think he's a good solid buy in the dynasty world this offseason if you can find someone willing to move off of him.
Yep. But I will go with Chig. I ride the hot hand there. Man, I sat Kincaid for Dalton Schultz, thinking, man, there's no one else to throw the ball to. And then somehow CJ Stroud became not accurate over a whole season.
It was a tough game to watch.
Yeah, he missed. I saw he missed like Schultz wide open for like a 30-yard gain, or like I'm just like, oh no, this is not good. I could have made that throw. Dylan, championship baby, full PPR, different leagues. All right, first league, one flex, Madison or Abdullah. I feel like I'm going Madison here. We saw that it just seems like maybe on the specific third down situations, Abdullah might be out there. But when Madison's out there, he is a PPR threat from last week's box score that we saw.
Yeah, I'm going with Madison. I have him ranked a little bit higher. 23 for Madison, 29 for Abdullah. So not a ton of difference probably when you project that out points-wise. It might be a point or two PPR scoring-wise, but I just think Madison has a better chance of scoring a touchdown. So he's ranked higher.
Yep. And then we got Philly or Miami or Philly's defense.
Both are good options. I have Philly at 2. I think I have Miami at like 4. So I'd probably go Philly. To Bryce's point earlier, there's probably a lot of sacks there this week.
Yeah, that's the first thing I look at for stuff like this is sacks. And then this is the other league defense, Tampa Bay or Buffalo. Buffalo's got the Jets.
And the Bucks have the Panthers. The Bucks defense stinks.
With no Chuba today, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Put him on season-ending IR.
Yeah, which is fine. People, that's fine. At this point, there's just like, even if they don't have to go there, they're going to put him there because the season's over for him, right? Same with Dallas did the CD.
It just sucks that we saw so many injuries this week when people are in their fantasy final and people other than me, because again, I'm in none. But and I'm not bitter about it. Not bitter about it at all. 0 for 5. It's awesome. It's fantastic. But I'll take Buffalo here. I just don't think Tampa Bay's defense does shit. Like, they're just not good.
Yeah, I'll take Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo as well. Hoping Rodgers isn't really avoiding sacks too well anymore. I
think Rodgers and Adams might be doing a Last Dance New York Jets version today and going out.
Did you hear what he said? He told the Jets organization that he is willing to come back, and he would be just fine being a mentor. Like, if you wanted to draft a quarterback first round, I'd be okay with showing him the ropes. That if that's true, and he does it without his giant ego getting in the way, that's a good sign that maybe he understands his role now, maybe in the league, that he's not. Maybe he's got some self-awareness that he isn't top dog anymore after this season.
I think he realizes with Adams. I definitely think he realizes he's not the quarterback that he once was.
Right.
There's as much chance as the Jets drafting a quarterback and him mentoring them as there is me being a Packers fan next year. So
I just don't see what the Jets could do here. They're not in a situation to draft a quarterback that's worth drafting and coming into the league and being very good. So why not bring Rodgers back to be probably semi-relevant? I mean, they could be decent with him and Adams for a full year. I could see them being a middle-of-the-pack team, potentially a playoff team if they can kind of put some stuff together. So why not at that point and draft a quarterback in the second or third round and see what you have there? And if not, then you just move on from there, because this draft is not the draft to try and restart. It's not. And I don't think quarterback that you try and bring in the offseason is also going to help that situation. What are you going to do? Go get Kirk Cousins? You're going to go back and get Sam Darnold? That's not going to work either. So
I don't think they do, and they could.
They're in a bad spot. This is a bad spot to be a Jets fan. Bad spot for the Jets. Any team that's like a middle-of-the-pack team, like the Seahawks, another team, what are you going to do? Like, Geno's not the answer. We know that. So it's like you can't.
Well, and Sam Howell isn't either. This is what you do, in my humble opinion, as a guy who knows nothing about anything, is if you're one of those teams like the Jets, where you clearly need a quarterback, but you have a vast number of other holes out there, why don't you fix your offensive line, let the old man play behind it, get beat to shit, who cares? And then when it comes time that you actually have a viable quarterback to draft, you have an established line so the guy doesn't get killed. Like, if I start an NFL franchise tomorrow, I'm starting on the offensive and defensive line, and I'm building those first.
Yep. Pay Garrett Wilson. Get him locked down. You got a receiver for whoever you do bring in.
Yeah.
Probably
got a couple more years of Brees, right?
Draft wide receiver in this offseason. That's what I would do. Draft offensive line, wide receiver, do all that. Get everything else fixed. That way, when you bring a quarterback in, especially O-line's number one. For sure.
I think it has to.
I think that's why Harbaugh is always successful. Everywhere he goes, first thing he does is he gets the trenches right every year. Every time he goes somewhere.
And build
San Fran, best offensive line.
Totally.
Best defensive line when he was there. Michigan, best defensive line, arguably best offensive line when he was in college. Like, I don't understand why people, it's like they get so
It's expensive.
It gets all
That's part of the
flashy. It
problem.
gets flashy at the wide receiver position, the tight end. It's
Sure.
more fun to watch. Jersey sales, all that. Nobody buys offensive lineman jerseys. They buy all
No,
the
they
flashy
don't.
position jerseys.
They don't. But
So-
where does a big chunk of your cap money go to? It goes to those guys because they're
know.
that valuable, right? Like you're paying an
Yep.
offensive tackle $27 million a year, and nobody knows who the fuck he is. But it doesn't matter because he's protecting the blind side of the guy who everybody knows who it is. So that's my thing. Fix your lines, people.
Need a flex, and it's a tight end premium. Doubs, Strange, Chig. Man, Strange was not our answer last week, was he?
Yeah, we were wrong there.
I mean,
I do like
let's see
Dobbs
what his
this
targets
week.
was.
Is Watson going to go this week? Do we know?
Who? Oh,
Christian
Christian
Watson.
Let me see. Even if he does, I don't think
I
Dobbs
like
takes that.
think-
I think the absence of Christian Watson would benefit Jaden Reed more than anybody, and he is not expected to play. Dobbs doesn't come in. It's like he's more of like your I don't know how to say it, just your traditional wide receiver where you're not really running little end arounds or quick screens with Dobbs. You're running your more regular route tree with him.
That's Jaden Reed's job.
And Christian Watson's. Christian Watson's doing all those now too.
So with
Deep
Watson
shots
out,
downfield.
You beat the Vikings in the middle of the field, and I don't necessarily think that's Romeo Dobbs. He's more of a boundary type of wide receiver. I think Reed can bounce back and have a really good game this week for Green Bay because I think there'll be points put on the board by both teams in that one.
I hope not.
I think I might.
A low-scoring game. I need that to be low.
I don't give a shit if it's 3-0 or 300 to 299.
I'll root for the or I'm sorry.
I just need this to happen.
I need a Packers win, actually.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
that's it for us.
Good
night. Good night, everybody. I'm going to go with Chig.
I think I'm also going to go Chig Okonkwo here. Yep, I am. Probably the fastest out of all these guys, too.
Why the hell do you need the Packers to win?
I'm in a family pick 'em, and I was very last to go, and you can't pick what someone else has already picked.
So
we each get 4 teams. So I had to pick the opposite of what somebody else has picked. And the only game, it's like I had to pick the Broncos because that was the only game that's I could see it.
So everybody in your family is smarter than you, is what I'm hearing.
No, only one person. Only one person picked the Vikings. So I had to pick the opposite of what he picked.
But
so
everybody didn't pick the Packers.
But that's going to be well, I was last, so I was the only person that had to go pick a second team. So it's weird how it's set up.
Is there some money on the line in this one?
Yeah, we're actually tied going into this week, and I did not win with the Broncos last night. You picked 4 games, so I need the.
Does it pay weekly? Because I'm willing.
No, it's at the end of
cash app.
It's at the end of the season.
You your loss, just.
It's at the end of the season.
Okay, all right. I'm sure people.
Rashad White or
I'm sure people tuned in for this, right?
Rashad White or Madison.
Madison 2 spots higher in my rankings. If Bucky's healthy and going, I think he's the guy there. I just think Rashad White's days are dwindling in Tampa.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him in a new spot. I think Rashad White could have rejuvenate somewhere else. But
awesome 3rd down pass catching back and a very pedestrian first 2 down running back.
Reminds me of James White.
Yeah, definitely has a role in this league for sure. Just not as the number 1 guy, I don't think.
Yep. Kraft, Conklin, Calcaterra, Sanders. Start 1.
I think it's Kraft. Yeah, I have Kraft at 13. Conklin and Calcaterra way down. Yeah.
Mr. Braveheart, full PPR, start 1 QB, Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen. Should have picked Jaden last week, shouldn't we have? But
I would
I'm
this
not
week
sitting.
too.
Really?
I just think he's out. He's out and on the bench by the start of the 4th quarter. And Daniels, I think they need to win that game bad. I don't think there's a wrong answer to that question, right? What are we talking about? I have Allen ranked at 1 because I almost always do. I had Lamar at 2 and Daniels at 3. So I just who's the ceiling? Who's the ceiling play? Let me ask you that.
Man, I don't know. These are the same ceiling, right? We saw it last week. We've seen it with Josh Allen's a ceiling play. He's had the highest points scored by a quarterback, almost ever or something, right? So
that's very hard to argue. I guess the answer is Josh Allen. My concern is that they are up 14 points or 17 points in the fourth quarter, and it's Mitch Trubisky time. So I think Daniels.
See, that's fine. That's fine with Josh Allen, but I don't see the Jets getting shut out. So, like, even if they're up 14 points, what does that mean? It's 42-14. That's 6 touchdowns out there, and there's a good chance Josh Allen scored 4 or 5 of those.
I don't know what the weather looks like in Buffalo today. I don't care very much either, but I don't see Buffalo putting 42 up on the Jets either. I see the boat race. I see Atlanta and Washington being more of a boat race than that one, but I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Like, I think these are both, like, Josh Allen was QB like frickin' 40 something last week in 32 teams. I have him everywhere, and there's a reason I'm not in any finals, but I'm not betting against the guy. I just think Daniels is.
Yeah. I hope the answer is Daniels. I have Daniels and not any Josh Allen shares, but I can't bench Josh Allen. I can't do it.
I don't disagree. So I'll say to Allen as well, because I did rank him at 1.
You should have got rid of this problem a long time ago, but
that's valid.
Maybe get a trade, but you didn't, and it's not bad. Not bad. Then you would have gave a potential contender one of those guys. So start one. And okay, so I'm Allen, and then we're starting one running. Are you Daniels? One running back, one wide receiver.
No, I'm going to stay with Allen, but because I ranked it that way. But I still say there's no wrong answer here.
Okay, so let's go one running back. I feel like this one's easy. Spears, Ford, Achane, right? I mean, dude's getting the ball everywhere.
Not without Tua.
I mean, I don't know. He's good.
Look at what he's done. Look what he did without Tua this year.
Yeah, but they're going to try and get the ball quick out of Skylar Thompson's hands, and Achane's going to get all those little tiny quick screens. His ceiling might be capped with no Tua, but I could see him still getting 4 or 5 catches for 40, 50 yards. He just got out of these options, he's easily the choice.
It's Tyler Huntley. Not that it matters. It would be a quarterback.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true. But this is, I mean, out of these options, it's easily Achane.
So I will say Achane as well, but when I look at my rankings, I have Achane at 13 and Spears at 14. So it's not easily. And I would be willing to guess that Spears has a better game than Achane, just because the only thing the Browns can do is plug up the middle, and you're stacking the shit out of the box. You got an injured Waddle. You got an injured Tyreek. You've got Huntley as your quarterback. I just think it's bad news bears for anything Miami this week.
Okay, so then we got London, Jameson Williams, and Josh Downs.
No Coker? You just screw Coker, he's out?
We know he's not going to be the choice out of these options.
He doesn't belong. I love the guy, but he doesn't belong in the question.
I didn't even see him, but now I see him. He's still not even worth mentioning.
Benching JMO last week. Another reason why I'm not in any finals this week. Yeesh. How many of these do I get? One?
JMO did what JMO does, and that's big play touchdowns is just hard to rely on.
I only get one. I'm going Drake London.
You potentially get 3 of these guys. So London is mine.
I'm flexing 2? Okay, that's easy.
Then we get 2 flexes. Yeah.
I'm flexing the other 2 then.
So they're going to be higher than both. The other 2 are higher than both Achane and Spears for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I could not start a running back here.
I am also flexing those 2, but I was just curious because you had them so close. I thought Spears might be one of your.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a very good running back week with what's left, right? Like I think a lot of
especially after a really good running back week last week. I mean,
right.
Running backs went absolutely nuclear.
Like I had Chase Brown at 2, and if he didn't hurt himself and did score that touchdown, it might have been a bit better. But I still think it's a great running back week.
Yeah, I played against James Conner, Kyron Williams, and Jonathan Taylor last week, and still ended up winning.
That's crazy.
I got Jettas.
I'm one of the few
Jettas
guys.
And Adams kept me alive. So
one of the few guys that had Jonathan Taylor and still lost. I had Jonathan Taylor and I still lost because.
So it's funny. I had Jonathan Taylor in a league that I won, and then I played against him in a league that I also won. But I had Adams, Bowers, Jefferson, Jaden Daniels went. I mean, completely off. That helped basically cancel out.
I got dinged because Josh Allen was my quarterback. Figured that one out. I'm still not bitter. I'm very happy.
All right, Braveheart. I hope that helps you. So we went Allen, Achane. And then London, Jameson Williams, and Josh Downs.
Yep. Good luck.
Josh Downs question. People are hip to the Josh Downs with Joe Flacco.
I'd like to
Jennings
think
or Downs?
we are. I think it's because
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah, true. Jennings or Downs?
Downs.
I need to watch more Josh Downs. I don't watch enough of the
Can
Colts.
the Niners show up today or tomorrow? I guess it is.
No, they should
win.
also crap.
Just win. Let me guess. Your stupid family thing. You got the.
No. I'm playing against Purdy.
Oh, that's okay. Win 6-3. I don't care. Just
okay.
The Niners need to beat the Lions. That's it.
I don't think 6-3 is going to do it. But we can hope.
Yeah.
Usually get blamed for everything. Got blamed for the Great Chicago Fire, Halifax explosion, and the JFK assassination.
Marco,
the government assassinated JFK. We all know that.
If we could talk offline about that JFK assassination, I have a couple of questions. But yes, I agree with you.
It's pretty much known that the government did it.
My dog, she's having fun.
Hey, didn't Trump say as soon as he gets into office, he's going to release all that info?
I saw an interview with him on Rogan where he said he's not going to because there's families of people that are still alive that he doesn't want them to have to live through that shit.
Oh. But him saying that basically
which probably means
he knows it wasn't just a coincidence. Like somebody didn't just do it out of it.
Or his own family's in it, and he's like, "Holy shit!"
Oh yeah,
get out of here,
yeah,
right?
It could be for sure.
Yeah. Truth.
I have a tough time hating the Packers.
What the fuck? What are you talking about? Like,
I could see why Rodgers. I could see why people hated him when Rodgers was there, but like Jordan Love seems like just such a regular dude, and their coach seems like such a cool dude too.
I just thought that maybe once Rodgers left, I would not hate him and the Packers as much. It's kind of like when Favre left. I hated Brett Favre being the Vikings quarterback, but when he was with the Jets for that one season, I didn't. I guess because he was insignificant, I really didn't hate him that much. But I can't not hate Green Bay, and I don't like anything that's there, and I still hate Aaron Rodgers. I'm trying to watch his Netflix thing, and I can't do it.
I like that Green Bay is like the only team that doesn't have an owner.
Yeah, that's because you feel your owner is too involved.
Well, yeah, and look at the success decade after decade for a team that doesn't have a selfish.
Look
control.
At the success. You guys kind of had some success too. Don't forget about that. You spoiled that.
Well, yeah, but that's because one guy, Tom Brady, was there. That's the only reason. Like, you don't put him there. What's that? What happens? Players. It all comes down to the players.
You would have won at least one with Bledsoe. That defense was rock solid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Doubs, Calcaterra, or Coker?
Marco can go back and tell us that. Doubs, Calcaterra, Coker. This is Doubs for me here.
I'll go Doubs as well here. Mayfield or Goff?
Oh, that's a good question. What did I do there? Baker's my 5 and Goff is my 9, so I guess Baker's my answer. It's a really, really good matchup against Carolina. Like they're the gift that
they got to get Mike Evans the ball too to keep his.
I don't think so. I don't think it's happening. McMillan's sure stepping up though.
Yeah.
I think Evans is still kind of hurt.
How many yards does he have?
He's got about 800 something. Let me check.
Man, that's definitely attainable. It's 100 yards in 2 weeks in a row. That's for sure something he could easily get.
He had 7. I think he had 727 coming in.
Ooh, yeah. Lost Lamb and Hubbard championship week. That does
sucks,
hurt.
Dude.
That does hurt, man. I saw there are a lot of people. There are a lot of Hurts. Definitely Hurts. I somehow lost Hurts and still ended up winning last week. I don't know. Fantasy guys must have been smiling over me for some reason.
You got something going on. He's at 818 yards coming into today, so he's got a legit shot.
Oh yeah. I mean, he gets 100. He gets 100 some today. He's got a cakewalk for it the next week. So
who do they got next week? Turn this into.
Oh no, but they're going to be a must wins. I imagine 2 weeks in a row. I mean, are they winning in?
They got the Saints next week, and he doesn't have Lattimore to fight with. So.
Oh yeah, true. Lattimore kind of has his. Lattimore has his number.
He's in his head.
Yeah. Full PPR need one. Ford, Dowdle, or Tracy. Wow, all these guys touchdown upside is literally bottom 4.
Could be Ford, but I don't like that upside.
Nobody has upside here. Nobody. I'll go with Ford. I'll go with Ford. Easy, a little bit easier matchup defensively, and he gets all the work. Dowdle also gets all the work, but that matchup's terrible for him. The Eagles D line is not going to be.
Dowdle gets all the work except the goal line carry that would have put me into the final when Zeke scored that touchdown. Not that I'm bitter.
Yeah.
Dowdle
will average less than 3 yards a carry today. I have
it ranked Ford, Dowdle, Tracy. Ford at 17, Dowdle 22, Tracy 24. So I'm going with Ford as well.
I would put Tracy second, but I wouldn't feel comfortable starting any of these guys.
He's a little banged up this week, so I'm a little worried that he splits a little bit more than normal.
That would be interesting. Cosplay Sully wear Packers gear on a live stream.
No, followed by Sully hanging himself live on camera. Not happening.
People might get banned for that.
What do I care? I'd be dead.
True.
Fuck. Give a shit.
So, fellas, need upside here. 1 tight end, 1 running back, 1 flex. Okay, we got Kraft, Ferguson. So there's our tight end options.
Yeah, those guys are back-to-back 12 and 13 in my rankings. I have Ferguson 1 spot higher because what the hell else is Cooper Rush going to do with the football?
Yeah, I think I'll take that too, volume based. Obviously, the touchdown upside is Kraft here, but Ferguson could easily get 10 plus.
Probably, yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so then we go to the running back: B-Rob, A-Chain, Garindo. It's A-Chain for me. I just can't.
Begrudgingly, it's A-Chain as well for me. Although I don't want anything to do with him.
It does help. He's just a very good PPR back. Okay, and then we got our flex. Wow, so this isn't even a wide receiver; it's a flex. Neighbors, Downs, Coker, Blackshear.
Neighbors.
Okay, Blackshear is also a running back, but I'm not changing my answer.
Blackshear's not going to do enough to get in at HN. It's Neighbors for me. Downs is close, but it's still Neighbors.
It's Neighbors for me. He's kind of putting it together here at the end of the season.
I think when he lost it and basically told his organization that they were garbage, that they started throwing the ball a little bit more.
So, yeah, they were trying to ask him like already, are you excited for Shador to be throwing you the ball next year? And he was like,
did you see
he's media trained, so he didn't say anything, because then if he says, oh yeah, I'm excited, can't wait, and then they don't get him, like, what's that make the other quarterback think? I don't know.
Did you see this Shador Sanders Giants cleats online?
No, but I mean, he's going there. It's no doubt he's going to be a Giant. I mean, I put my whole freaking paycheck on it.
I think
we playing Rico over Spears or stick with Spears. So
Dowdle 22, Spears 14. Spears. You?
Spears for me as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think, but yeah, just Spears for me as well.
It's got to be a good spot to go as a rookie, though. New York, hey? Like, all the media, all the endorsement money, like, that's pretty good. Even if you play for a team that's not that great, you're going to make a shit ton.
Yeah, their offensive line is not getting – it's getting a little bit better. It wasn't that horrible this year, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I don't think it was great, but it wasn't bad.
It was hurt. It was hurt a lot.
I honestly think going into that situation with that coach is good. I think if they move on from Brian Daboll.
You think that coach is back?
I think so. I think that the organization put him in a no-win situation by making him keep Daniel Jones. I don't know if he wanted to keep Daniel Jones.
I don't know if he did or not, but Daniel Jones is clearly the best quarterback in the New York Giants. Everybody who's played after him has proven that.
Yeah, but that's not saying much. I mean, again, Brian Daboll's been getting put in that same situation where he's not been in a good spot to draft a quarterback worth replacing. That is just going to put him in the same situation. I feel like he comes in there with Daniels, and he rode that train until he finally got put in a situation where he could draft the quarterback that maybe he's willing to fall on the sword for, in the sense of, okay, if this one doesn't work out, then it is me. I understand I'm going to lose my job here. But I think I think it'd be a mistake to move on from Brian Daboll. If they do, I hope we hire him as our offensive coordinator.
I think he was single-handedly going to be one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, and that's where he needs to be. I don't know if he's necessarily a head coach. I don't know if that's necessarily fair for me to say. I just his first
year with the Giants, he had them relevant again. He
did. They played well.
He did, and I think he could do that with a much better quarterback. And
he did it with.
He's nailed all his draft picks. I mean, he's gotten. I think the only thing that's really stopped Brian Daboll from being successful is the quarterback position, and that's it. No.
I don't see how you can go from the playoffs to not very good to having the first overall pick with the same head coach. I don't know. He's finished. I'd bet some serious. You're betting your paycheck on Sanders going to the Giants. I'm betting mine on Daboll getting canned. Right or wrong?
I feel like if they were going to can him, why didn't they can him by now?
Because
that's the only thing. What's the point of keeping him? Might as well get somebody in there to see.
The point of, I don't know. I don't get this whole interim head coach thing. Like, if I think my head coach isn't very good and I want to fire him and I'm going to get a draft pick out of it, I want to keep the guy who's not very good, so I keep not winning. But I guess so. I get it. He's dosed, though. I would seriously bet a good amount of money on that.
Bucks or the Raiders defense? Also Bates or Will Reichard? You'll have to go with the kicker question.
I got Reichard's my top-ranked kicker this week. I think that's a tight game against the Packers. It's indoors, which I like a lot this time of year. So Reichard's my kicker, and I'll just look at my defense real quick. I think my answer is going to be the Raiders. It's not. Yeah, it's the Bucks. I have the Bucks at 9 and the Raiders.
Is Max Crosby out for the year? Or is he playing?
I think that's a good question. Did they put him on IR? I think they did.
He is on IR.
Yeah. I think the Bucks could get some sacks and some turnovers, but I think I just don't know. I think the Raiders are in tough in terms of holding teams at bay. They just don't seem to have much going on these days.
I'll go with the Raiders defense. You do get points for for not many points scored against. So
I'm sorry, I have the Raiders ranked higher. I'm losing my mind. I was looking for Oakland on my list. Lost it.
It's been a while.
I'm an old dude.
Woody Harrelson? Yeah, I remember that. He used to work at Kings Island here in Ohio. Woody Harrelson.
How do you remember that?
What? I just remember that was big news that his dad claimed it. I don't.
Seriously, actually.
Yes, he did. His
dad okay.
I don't know if I was. I don't know if I like remember when it happened, but I've heard that before. I've heard that his dad claimed that he killed JFK. But Woody Harrelson worked at Kings Island, which is here in Ohio. I don't know if you know what Kings Island is.
No. What is it, like an amusement park?
Yeah, it's a theme park, yeah.
Cool. Well, good for Woody.
The Pats have won a championship with Bledsoe, at least in this alternative future here.
How the Vikings do in the alternate future, because we still have none that I'm aware of.
No question. But what do you guys think about Debo showing up last week?
I think it was inevitable to happen, right? You start taking away weapons in that offense, and you know, if you saw last week, both Bryce and I were not very high on Patrick Taylor, and he showed us why. So Debo got more carries, and he got his juices flowing a little bit. And he looked a little bit more like the Debo of the past with the yards after the catch type of thing. So I still think he's playing somewhere else next year. But him and Kittle are about all they got right now. And I hope he has a mother effing huge game this week.
Yep, I'm going to look here at how this – so we're out of questions. So if you guys have any, please ask them. I knew we'd be a little bit easy today because you
have 4 viewers.
Only 2. Yeah, only 4. That's okay.
Hell.
I'd say I don't have any really start-sit questions. Mine got made for me with Kenneth Walker getting put to IR, which is fine.
Maybe we'll start talking about Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, let's get him out of there at this point.
You think so?
I was gonna give him a pass because of the defense, or because the offense. No matter what, there was going to be excuse for the offense this year. They just didn't address it in the offseason. There wasn't really any offensive lineman worth trying to go after. The wide receivers there's no good free agent wide receivers worth getting. So I knew the offense was going to be bad. I was okay with the Jalen Polk draft pick. I really was. I thought he was like one of the better draft picks they've had with what was available. They shouldn't have traded back and just got Ladd McConkey. But then again, I mean, they didn't really need a Ladd McConkey type receiver because Demario Douglas is a good slot receiver.
Fair.
And it's like, then you're just grabbing 2 slot receivers. They need an outside receiver. They need a guy on the outside.
I just think the Ladd McConkey is the closest thing to Julian Edelman that you could have ever recreated in that offense. I thought he was going there for sure. And then they traded that pick. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I just think Demario Douglas is good. I mean, he is good. We saw him make a awesome play this last week. It's just
that was it's hell of a play by him.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you this. Like, I was fairly unsure as to whether or not you guys had the quarterback. You absolutely have your quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that kid is legit. There goes my dog.
He's so good, man.
Viewership just went down one. The dog left. But yeah, man, like, he is, although I don't know why he came back into that game. But there's a whole other things. Okay, that's just rude.
Maybe, at that point, you're a rookie and you want to show that you're tough for your team, especially in the time of the season. I think it's a character. It might have been a character thing coming back in that game. You got to think this dude's a younger of like three brothers. He's gonna be tough. Like, he's probably got bullied and picked on his whole life.
There's
tough and stupid. I know
smart,
that,
right? So,
well, it'd be different if the coaches held him out, but I mean, he's not gonna say, "Oh yeah, hold me out."
No, and I don't want.
He can't say that.
I don't want him to, but I want a situation there where you've got literally nothing to play for, and you have your legit franchise quarterback potentially with a head injury. I'm taking his helmet and throwing it into the stands. Like, he's not playing. And I want him to tell me F you and go find his helmet, but I'm still not letting him play. Marco, if you could tell me what year that war was, I'll give you a bonus point.
And tell me in what world does Canada beat? Does Canada win a war against the United States?
Well,
no offense.
The last time.
Not now. You guys are too polite.
No,
we'll just send all of our crackheads over there to fight you guys.
Like,
it
sounds like I'm going to become part of the States if Trump has his way. So I'm okay with that.
Pick 2: G. Wilson, Downs, Jennings.
I think I had Downs, or who did I have earlier? Downs or Jennings ahead? It's Wilson for sure.
You picked Downs.
It's Wilson and Downs.
It's Wilson and Downs for me. I think Jennings next year is going to disappear, and it's going to be Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah. I think Debo's gone though, so I think Jennings will still have a role.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think these questions then will be like Downs and Pearsall.
I think Pearsall is.
Maybe Downs will be yeah. No, he is.
Like, Pearsall last year was my, oh my God, this guy's awesome. Nobody's talking about him. I'm going to get him in the 3rd and 4th round of my drafts. And then all of a sudden, in the last week, he became a 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I think this draft class is going to be one that we talk about in years. Like, holy crap, look at how loaded it is at wide receiver and quarterback.
Yeah.
Not running back, though. But
this was...
Holy crap, Buck Bowers was in this draft class? Yeah, that's going to be that draft class.
This draft class was, other than running back, you're right, was about as good as I ever remember in terms of fantasy assets.
And then we haven't even seen maybe some of the other guys that haven't gotten the chance yet, like tight end, like some maybe a later round tight ends or whatever, like that we don't even know about yet.
There's still guys that break out in year 2 and 3 in this league, right? Like, you don't have
Isaac Garindo could be that guy.
He could
Isaac Garindo could be a well-known name there. Yep.
Well, it's good to win Grey Cup championships too, so good for the Vikes.
Who should start at my flex? Adams, Thielen, Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, or Garindo? Jeez Louise.
Adams?
It's Adams for me. Yeah, it's Adams for me.
How are these guys your flex?
Yeah, what are your receivers? You have Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase?
I have Adams highest, so yes. And Raiders is my answer to that question. For the defense.
Yes. Yeah. Not the Cowboys defense today. That was somewhere in 1994, I guess.
It was actually the War of 1812 in which Canada was victorious over the United States, but it wasn't Canada. It was Britain, and Canada was still a British colony at that time.
Yeah. That's fine.
Nothing like a little history for you young kids at the end of the stream.
Ugh.
All right, Bryce, how many finals are you in?
Well, 4 of them, but 2 of them I split first place, so I don't really care what happens. I don't have some ego.
So you got together with the guy you're playing and said, "Hey, let's just split the money."
Yeah, let's split the money, play for bragging rights. Yeah, one of them I had no business being there. I don't even know how. The other one,
if I was ever king for one day, I would eliminate the ability to split. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't care. I was in a league that was like that, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. It's there. At that point. At that point, I look at it as a guy myself. It's their money. Like, they've won this money at this point. So who am I to say what they do with it? I could say, hey, I'm not splitting it. Like, this is how it is in the league safe. This is how I distribute it. If you guys want to come to an agreement and then pay each other after, sure, I could see how you could maybe do that. But that'd be like something I have to put in the bylaws. Hey, no chopping. Like,
so I have a guillotine. I have commissioned a guillotine league every year. 18 guys, $50. Winner makes 900. And that's it. That's all it pay. The only payout that it has. And the last year the guys split it, and it pissed me off. But it is what it is. Dog's back.
And both that I split, I'm actually favored to win right now. But like
that's why I wouldn't do it.
One of them I had Ramondre, so it's like, but I'm projected by 3 points to win. So it's like it's pretty much up in the air. I didn't like my matchups in one of them, and the other one I had no business being there in the first place. So I was like, cool, I'll chop. And I had Hurts. I had Jalen Hurts. So I was like, hey, before he gets ruled out, maybe I can go to this guy and see if he wants to split. And he did. So thought about it a little bit.
So
my matchups are bad.
DeMarcus lets us know why that's his situation. He started Terry McLaurin, which I don't dislike at all, and Lad McConkey, which is good on you. Lad had a huge game. So those are the receivers he has left in his flex, the Adams, Thielen, Neighbors, Tyreek Hill. And then I guess
you're in a
good spot, dude. You should be. I would like to think you're trending towards going. What's up?
Are you taking McLaurin out for any of these guys? I mean, I'm putting Adams in over everybody, even the guys you have in there. I mean, I know McConkey blew up, so you're good there.
Yeah, that's a good.
Are you keeping McLaurin? Are you keeping McLaurin in, or are you maybe throwing it? To me, it goes McLaurin or Neighbors.
That's a really good point, Bryce. But I think I have it Adams, McLaurin, Neighbors anyway, so I don't think it would change.
I'm also doing that too.
Yeah,
you're ballsy for putting in for putting in McConkey, because I would have probably put in Neighbors over McConkey. I definitely.
So my rankings this week: Adams 11, McLaurin 12, McConkey 13, Neighbors 16. So I don't think I would have had the stones to put Lad in over Neighbors, but good for you.
Yeah, and normally I avoid the number one receivers against New England, but I know that McConkey is a slot receiver and Christian Gonzalez doesn't line up in the slot. So if there's any team that has a really good slot receiver against, you need to pay attention to like those teams' corners, because like, you know, if you see like, oh, McConkey's going against the Broncos, he's going to have Patrick Surtain. That's not necessarily the case. Patrick Surtain doesn't line up in the slot very often either. So good on you, DeMarcus, for maybe being aware of that. If you were,
that's why I thought Chase was going to have a better game this year. Did we miss this super chat?
No,
did we miss this?
On my thing. I don't even have that on my board.
Was that last week?
That's last week.
Okay.
Right?
Actually,
yeah, that's not on my board.
All right. Don't worry about me.
I think it was. Yeah, Malik Washington. That was definitely on there.
Oh yes, good. Yeah, like I thought Chase was going to have a bigger game than he did because of the fact that Surtain wouldn't come into the slot to take him down. But maybe Moss coming back for Denver had something to do with that. But I didn't see Higgins having the game that he had. But nonetheless, it was okay. War of 1812 is not the war when the Brits run the US couple. I believe so. Those Brits can be ruthless. Autocorrect got him there. Picked up Debo in the league last week in one league off waivers. Need today Debo or Jennings. I think it's still Jennings. It's kind of wild that Debo is on waivers though.
That as well.
I still think it's Jennings. I think if the Niners do want to make me happy and beat the Lions this week, they're going to have to score, and that means they're going to have to throw. So I get they're both wide receivers, but it seems like in the passing game, Purdy seems to favor Jennings. He seems to kind of be his whoopee, his go-to, right? So, and that would be in your flex position. So, yeah, I think that's your call, dude. I think it's a tough call. Like, obviously, if Jennings or Debo is your flex, you're probably doing pretty darn good based on the questions you've asked us previously. You're in here every week. You always seem to have a good roster. So I'll take the easy way out. I think that Debo's probably the floor play. Jennings is the ceiling. Would you agree with that, Bryce?
I would say Debo's the ceiling. Jennings is the
floor.
You?
Okay.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So never mind that, Cody.
But I'll still go Jennings here. I'd still go Jennings here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. How about Johnny asking us Bijan or Jonathan Taylor?
What? Who's
In
your
what
other
planet? In what planet is one of them not your RB2 or your flex? I need Johnny. I need to see your roster.
I don't
And
even see
the answer is Bijan. But
I guess,
come
but
on.
who's your RB? Who's your RB? Who could potentially be his RB 1 or 2 here?
Gibbs?
Yeah,
Saquon?
I guess. Yeah, Barkley.
Gibbs.
It's Gibbs.
Good for you, dude. Who's in your flex?
Yeah, who's your flex?
Bryce is getting all pissed off. Yeah, who's your flex?
What is this?
Come on, Johnny. It's 1-on-1 or 2-on-1. No flex allowed. Okay.
That's old school.
Old school, only 2 RBs. I like it.
Jeez Louise, man.
In that case, sucks. Holmes, it is Gibbs and Bijan. But man, Taylor's
it's Gibbs and Bijan for me too. Man, Jonathan Taylor's got some PPR value today, though.
Taylor? Oh, he does have Flacco back. That's a good call.
He's got no vulture. He's got no vulture in the red zone now either. Man, this is really tough sitting sitting Jonathan Taylor after last week.
That's why. Guys,
I just don't think there's no world I sit Gibbs with. If Monty was there, I probably would sit Gibbs in all reality.
I would too.
But he's not.
For sure, but he's not. But the Niners are going to shut the Lions out. So
I am so tempted to sit Bijan here because, like, give me the 2, they get all the work.
The only reason I'm not going to sit Bijan is because I think that the Commanders and the Falcons go crazy, and that's a super high scoring, entertaining game.
Yes, it is. Oh man, I'm going to sit Bijan. I think it could be like that, but I just want.
I get it.
Oh man, this is horrible.
I get it.
Just give me the guys that get all the work. Yeah, that's all. That's the only reason. Like the most talented out of these 3, in my opinion, the most talented running back is Bijan Robinson. I think he's the most talented.
Would you say Jonathan Taylor is more talented than Gibbs, or Gibbs is more talented than Taylor?
I would say Gibbs. I think Gibbs is just he's not as a good runner as Jonathan Taylor, but he's definitely a better back out of the backfield. And I would say that Gibbs and Bijan are top. I would say Bijan and Gibbs are in 1 and 2, or I'm sorry, 2 and 3 for most talented running backs in the league. Number 1's Barkley for me.
I agree.
That's insane.
Cody,
man. Holy crap.
That's awesome, man. I was in 5 semis. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I'm not in any finals. So
I was in 6. I got 4, but the 2 that I lost were the more expensive leagues.
I think I might start spending my Sunday morning streaming somebody else so I can make it fun championship too. All right, Bryce, who wins today, Minnesota or Green Bay?
Who's home?
Minnesota.
Minnesota wins. That's what I really think.
I hope so. I'm so nervous. Hard to beat the same
team. I want Green Bay. I want Green Bay for the thing, but
yeah,
I think Minnesota wins today.
The good news is nobody cares about your thing other than you.
Here, you know what? Let me tell you how about this? Let me see if I'll give you my other options that I can choose from, and you tell me which ones you would have picked. Okay.
And for those 6 of you that are still here for some unknown reason, if you have any questions, fire them in here. We'll get to them.
Yeah, we're just going to spend some time. We'll probably go for another like 10, 15 minutes if we don't get a ton of questions.
Yeah. I had McBride. McBride's on a bunch of my rosters. Look at how he did last week. Not bitter. I'm totally fine. I'm happy he did well, though. Finally scored a touchdown. Okay, Bryce, fire away.
Marco asked right before that, though, Washington or Atlanta. Are you asking who wins this game? It's Washington. What defense am I using? It's Washington.
Neither. It's neither, and I think
neither.
I think Washington does win, but I'm telling you, and I need it to be because I need a good game to watch tonight. I have a feeling it's going to be incredibly entertaining.
Neighbors, yes. Yeah, by a lot. Okay, so here's my other options. I can either pick the Cowboys.
No.
The Panthers.
No.
The Jets.
No.
The Giants.
No.
The Browns.
Maybe. The Packers have a better chance of beating the Vikings than the Browns do of beating the Dolphins. Regardless.
Exactly what I think. Exactly what I think. Yes. The Falcons.
I don't think so. I'd still take Green Bay.
Or the Niners.
Sorry, I slipped it up. Well, the Niners are going to shut out the Lions 14-0. No, they won't. I think that.
That's all I had. That's all I had.
So I always say that fantasy and gambling has no fandom. So I pull all that to the side, and I would take Green Bay as well.
Yeah, it's like
I might heavily bet on the Packers today, just so I'm happy either way.
I don't mind the Browns being at home is a little bit more interesting though here.
It's still DTR though. He's terrible.
It is. It is.
Like,
so is Tyler Huntley.
Is Tyler Huntley not the best quarterback in that game though?
He just might be. Unless Jameson comes in the second half.
So I'm only betting on the Browns, and I'm hoping, and this is a horrible thing to say, I'm hoping DTR gets hurt. Not seriously, just enough to get out of the game.
Yep, I got to stay with the Packers. It sucks.
Why?
I could be.
Why does everybody hate Jameis Winston so much? Why is he not playing quarterback for that team?
I don't know, because he threw 8 interceptions in 3 games. That's why.
Sure, but hasn't DTR thrown 4 in 2 games?
I don't know. I don't think he did anything last week, did he? Yeah, he threw 2 picks.
Threw 2 picks.
Yeah, against the
way I looked
Bengals
at it is, I have this pretty talented quarterback who everybody seems to adore, that I'm going to sit down because he's just not.
Well, he was also banged up, is what they were saying.
So I'm going to sit him down because he's not safe with the football, and I'm going to bring in someone who's not as good, who's not safe with the football. This is the same organization that decided Joe Flacco wasn't worth bringing back. Like the fans of Cleveland.
Oh my gosh!
Killed. What do you got?
We're not gonna see Winston. If anybody, you know who we're gonna see? Bailey Zappi. He's the backup.
Is he the second quarterback?
He is the second string quarterback. Jameis is to be an emergency quarterback only today.
I forgot.
We might see Bailey. We very well might see Bailey Zappi today, and that would be actually probably relatively decent.
They would win if they had Zappi, because I would like Jerry Jeudy if Zappi played.
Yes, I would too. And Jameis Winston's interception. That's funny.
It really is. But man, he's fun to watch. The fans love him. Like, why would you let those poor ass fans have something enjoyable to watch one more time this year? That organization,
we could very well see Bailey Zappi in the second half of today's game.
That organization is complete dog shit.
Well, they might also keep him in because they might want to lose.
They do. That's clearly ownership driven.
So right now the NFL draft order has got the Giants at the 1 spot.
Yep.
The Patriots are at the 2 spot. Jacksonville is at the 3 spot. Tennessee at the 4. Cleveland at the 5. Raiders at the 6. All of those teams today, except the Giants. So the 2 through 6 seed picks right now are all have 3 wins. The Patriots have already lost today. So they're 3-13. The rest of them are all 3-12. The Giants are 2-13. So I don't know if the Giants could potentially even win a game and stay in the same spot, or how that works. Because I think it goes second strength of schedule, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
And the Patriots have the worst strength of schedule, so I think they would actually bump up to the number 1 pick, which would be huge, because then they could literally get a haul for Shador and trade back 1 or 2 spots, which I think they end up trading back anyway. And at worst, New England ends up with the 5 or 6 pick. I think it's going to be a freaking fight for the number 2 pick, because I think if the Giants, which they will, end up with the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick will just be completely up for grabs.
Tennessee and Jacksonville play each other this week, right?
Correct. So one of them will get moved.
Somebody's going to 4.
No, someone's going to 7. It looks like.
I mean 4 wins.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yep.
I don't see a world where who do the Giants play next week? Let me look at that. Like, I don't see a world where you guys get to 1. But what do I know?
The Giants play the Eagles next week, so yeah, probably not.
Well,
unless
it could be.
The Eagles
there's
bench
no
their starters.
Who are they playing? Like, Hurts isn't.
Well, it
play,
depends.
even if it's healthy.
The number 2 seed could potentially be up for grabs, right?
But I also think you guys could beat Buffalo next week for the same reason. If I'm Kraft and you play the Bills and you win and you're my coach, I'm firing you the next morning. I don't care. I don't care if winning's always good for your organization or not. And the good thing is next week, everything's an 11 or a 1 o'clock start. So
it's winning is not always good for an organization.
it's good for your team and your culture, and winning a
I
divisional
guess,
game is too.
but getting a
And
new
winning a divisional game,
getting a new franchise quarterback might be a little bit better for the culture.
maybe.
Right.
But I think it'd be interesting. I kind of want that to happen now because I still have my conspiracy theory of Sanders in Las Vegas. So if you guys get the 1, you're trading out of that pick, right?
Yeah, there's no way we could keep that pick.
Did you bring Max Crosby to New England and something else for that pick?
That'd be so sick.
I don't think they trade Crosby, and Crosby doesn't want to get traded either. So,
I think. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he and Antonio Pierce are getting along. From what I don't know. Crosby does seem like maybe a potential head case, but he's also it probably seems like that when you're always losing. Bills or Cowboys defense?
I think Bills.
Yep.
Sorry, did I skip over that? My apologies.
Yeah, it's okay. I see a lot of Ford again today for the Browns. Yeah, I think so too, which is kind of why we picked him over a couple of guys earlier on that like kind of same tier. Which coaches will get fired on Black Monday?
Let's play this game. Giants. Dable gone or not?
I'd say they keep him. I would think that'd be the best decision. But, I've been surprised before. Look what the Titans did.
I think he's gone. Sherrod Mayo.
I don't think he's gone. I want him to be, but I don't think he is. I think we'll move on from our coordinators potentially. But I don't see the coaches gone.
Callahan in Tennessee.
No.
He stays.
Yeah.
Peterson, Jacksonville.
Gone.
Totally gone. Stefanski
stays.
He stays.
They'll give him all the excuses of lost his quarterback.
He'll get hired. He'd get hired in about 2 seconds if somebody fired him.
Yeah.
What's his name? Pierce in Las Vegas.
Gone.
Bears have already canned their guy. Panthers are not canning. What's his name?
No, not how they've been playing the second half of the season.
He's been good.
They've been good. They need some defense help, and they lost like 2 of their best defensive players, I think, at the beginning of the year. So,
Jets coach, they already canned him.
Yeah.
Saints coach, they've already canned. Niners, I'd safe to say that Shanahan's coming back.
Yeah.
Arizona, he's coming back.
Yeah.
McDaniel in Miami, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Dallas.
He also gets. Who knows with Jerry Jones? He should be fired though.
He should be fired, but I think they'll bring him back.
Yeah, I think so too. He'll get the excuse if Dak got hurt. That's what he'll get, even though they're on track to be where they're at anyway.
Steichen in Indy.
They'll keep him.
Zach Taylor, Cincinnati.
They should get rid of him so fast.
I would fire that guy so effing fast. It wouldn't even be funny.
But apparently their coaches, their owner's cheap. So
he is cheap, cheapest there is, because he has no money, relatively speaking, in NFL ownership terms.
Right.
Tampa, Todd Bowles.
No, why would they get rid of him?
Fine.
Yeah.
Atlanta's first-year coach, I don't see him going anywhere. No. Seattle first-year coach, I don't see him going anywhere. Sean Payton's rock solid.
Yeah.
Houston, they're not firing him.
No.
Chargers are not firing him. Pittsburgh's not firing their coach. Los Angeles isn't firing theirs.
I think Mike Tomlin might be the best coach of all time when it's all said and done.
He really might be. And the following are not firing their head coach: Washington, Baltimore, Green Bay, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Minnesota, Detroit, and Kansas City. I think the wild card there might be Philadelphia if for some reason they lose their first playoff game.
Their fan base will come for his head.
They hate him anyway, and he hates them. He's yelling at them half the time, like they're all fighting each other.
But he's like super good. Like another guy, if he got fired, he'd get hired right away.
He would, but for some reason,
I would like Sirianni in New England. I'd be more than happy with him.
So where's Ben Johnson go? He's got his pick of everywhere. Where's he go?
If I were Ben Johnson, the first thing I'd be looking at as that guy would be my quarterback. Right, because I feel like that is the first thing to keeping a job as a coach would be the quarterback position. So the Bears have got to be in that running.
That's exactly what I would pick.
Yeah, defense is solid. They got I think Caleb Williams needs some guidance. Probably needs humbled a little bit. I think he's got a little bit of this like attitude.
Yep.
And that could get humbled. And I think Ben Johnson would humble it, which is why that coaching staff is the best in the league by miles.
They're currently
except for their defensive coordinator. That dude's going to get a head coaching job and not be good.
Who's that?
Aaron Glenn. I don't think Aaron Glenn's that good.
I think he'll be okay. And I think Aaron Glenn's going to be the coach of the Saints. He's got so much ties to that organization. I think
the defense has never been that great.
I think the Bears pick 7th right now.
I could also see why New England would potentially be. I could see why New England would be a potential landing spot for Ben Johnson in the sense that he's got his quarterback. He'd have a ton of money to work with in the offseason. He'd have a lot of money to maybe bring in guys that he wanted to bring in. But I just don't see that happening. It's definitely a spot that makes sense though. Other spots that don't. I mean, other spots that wouldn't make sense would be like the Jets don't make sense. Who are some other teams we were saying are going?
The Jets might if they had a
Jags. The Jags kind of make some sense for Ben Johnson. That's not a bad spot for him. Good wide receiver. T Law is a good quarterback.
Any reason he goes to Vegas? I don't think so. Right?
He could definitely go to Vegas if he.
But they're not going to have a quarterback. Well, they got to get shit first.
I'm sorry. It depends on what they might do in the draft. I mean, if somehow they could end up with the number 2 pick, if New England ends up with the 1 pick, now that number 1 pick is completely wide open for any team to trade for.
You know where he should go if it happens? Cincinnati.
Who? Oh yeah, that'd be. Oh man,
if the Bengals came open, that's the job he takes. If not, he's crazy. Or the Eagles, if that came open, I would take that.
Yeah. I don't really see any other ideal spots.
Cody says, as a Falcons fan, this year's been so disappointing, and I will say, as a Kirk Cousins massive fan, it's been disappointing as well. It's been hard to watch him go through what he's gone through. He's just
the one thing you got as a Falcons fan to look forward to is now you have a guy to root for. Your last 2 games are probably more exciting than almost anybody else's at this point.
He did look good, and I know I was the.
But now you got something to look for. Like you get something to watch. You get something to like. Okay, now I don't even care if we win or lose. How does Michael Penix Jr. look in these games? That's what really is going to matter.
And just pray that he looks good, because it's going to be a tough offseason if Penix. So if Penix throws 4 picks tonight and they lose, and then he struggles again in week 18, then you got that kind of doubt lingering in your head, right? So
yeah.
But I don't think he does. Like, Penix has never been a quarterback that's thrown a lot of interceptions. He's a lot more mobile than I think a lot of people give him credit for. He's incredibly accurate. Like, his first pass last week was a rolling out to his left sidearm dart to Ray McLeod that he just dropped. Like, he just dropped it. Like, and he looked good. He hit Moody a lot over the middle. I think he's going to be just fine. And I'm the guy that was like, Atlanta just made the dumbest draft pick in the history of football. That was me. So, but
yeah,
I'm wrong about.
Caveat. I was like, I think that makes sense, but it could.
I'm wrong about everything Atlanta. I was a huge Kyle Pitts guy. Not everything. I like Bijan. He's the best running back I've seen come out of college in the amount of time I've been doing this. Drake London was my number 1 receiver in his year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do pre-rookie scouting when Barkley came out. That was pre-Roto Heat. So, but I'm being told that the film I'm about to watch on a young Mr. Gentry is going to be even better than Bijan's, and maybe it will.
Yeah, the thing about Gentry is, though, he doesn't catch the ball at all. So, sure, that dude has.
But does he not catch the ball, or do they not throw him the ball? Because it's the Kenneth Walker sort of situation, right?
That's what I don't know. Yeah, correct.
That's the part that I struggle with college. Like, Michigan State never threw the ball to Kenneth Walker, and it was like, well, he can't catch. And then he gets to Seattle, and I'm like, the dude just had 20 targets and caught 17 of them. Like, what are we talking about?
I would say this, though. If he's in college and he's not catching the ball, that means he's probably not running a lot of routes. So he's going to have to learn that.
Fair.
More than
I can't
anything.
see him, man. I can't see
Genty's his contact balance is insane, and he's got really good acceleration.
I'm worried about level of competition. Is it all valid?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to see it. We're going to see it here soon. I mean, he's going to play. He's going to play tomorrow, or I'm sorry.
Who do they play?
Tuesday. They play Tuesday, and he plays against Penn State, if I'm not mistaken, or Notre Dame, one of those 2.
And Penn State's real good, right? I guess Notre Dame's
both these teams are got good defenses. I really like Notre Dame's coach. I think he'll end up in the NFL someday. But Genty's contact balance is like he's a good mixture of like Alvin Kamara's contact balance or even Ramondre Stevenson's contact balance. Like he does not go down from the first dude, and he's got crazy good acceleration. This running back class is going to be fun to watch. Henderson for Ohio State, also really, really good. I think
Really thought he was coming out. Really thought he was coming out last year.
I think he made the right decision not doing it because.
Well, and he probably made a ton of.
Well, I think the crazy thing is you thought it'd be a bad decision because now Judkins comes there and takes his work, but I think he separated himself from Judkins, and I was wrong on that. I thought Judkins would be better.
Standard
but
scoring.
Judkins looks like a better running back.
For Mike Duke, standard scoring: Thielen, Debo, or Ridley.
Who the Titans play today?
They play the Jags. I'm going Ridley here.
I'm going Ridley.
Panthers get the Bucs.
It's a little revenge game too.
There you go. Packers. I can't get the Packers out of my stupid head. The Panthers play Tampa, which is also a nice matchup, and Debo gets the Lions, which who knows what the hell that is. So it'd be Ridley, Thielen, Debo in a standard scoring format for me here. PPR, I'd put Debo ahead of Thielen, but yeah, we'll see. Good luck to you.
Again, I think he's going to say Ashton Genty did well against Oregon, but Oregon's defense is not very good.
So Oregon has Ohio State. Georgia has Notre Dame. Who the hell does Boise State play? I don't even see it on
They play either Penn State or Notre Dame. I can't remember. Let me see.
They play
Penn State Tuesday on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I'm going to be watching that.
Yeah, I think it's the only game on that day. So
I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Easy game. I put a $10 bet in before college football season started for Travis Hunter to win the Heisman, parlayed with Ohio State to win the championship. decent odds so far. $10 to win 1,000. So I'm rooting for Ohio State.
That's good work if you can get it, man. Let's go, Ohio State.
That'd be cool.
I got to be honest with you. I'd be totally fine with it other than Kidder. I don't think I can handle it. I'd have to block him on every social platform. And I love the guy, but I just can't handle it.
Yeah, what do Ohio State fans? This becomes a conundrum for Ohio State fans. You don't fire your head coach after he wins a national championship. That's your problem, right?
I don't think Ryan Day is not that
good. If they don't win the national championship, yes. If they do, he's not. Unless he steps down. How can you fire a guy that wins the national championship?
You can't fire a guy after he won the national championship.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen.
And he could. There is easily a path for them to do it. I mean, they gave Oregon a run for their money at Oregon last time they played. Like it was a very good game. This is gonna be. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I never liked Ryan Day even from the start. So,
where's your beautiful daughter today? I don't hear.
They're at the store.
Okay.
They're at the store today, grocery shopping. Do I start Garrett Wilson or London? Good Lord.
London for me.
London for me as well. Garrett Wilson scared me last week. He had like 1 point, and then in the fourth quarter, scored 9. So that was cool.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, I think Rodgers and Adams are gonna go out in a blaze of glory these last couple of games. I think he just throws the ball to him all damn day because neither one of them give a shit.
Go Oregon, can't stand State. The fan base is terrible. I graduated from Ohio State. I live here in Ohio. It's an awesome campus.
The fan base.
Really cool environment, but the fan base is just so obnoxious.
It's the same as the Bengals.
All
it's
Ohio,
the same damn fans.
Yeah. Although Cleveland fans aren't that bad because they've been humbled enough for as many years. But man, as soon as Joe Burrow got to there and put the Bengals in the Super Bowl, the Bengals fan base has just been obnoxious. Like, the NFL's rigged except when your team's doing good, right? The NFL's always rigged unless the Bengals win. Then suddenly it's not rigged anymore. Ohio State is obnoxious as well, but at least the fans usually know who to blame for Ohio State.
I would be thrilled.
They're blaming the head coach, and it is the coach.
I was so happy to see Cincinnati be good and Burrow get to the Super Bowl and all that stuff happen. And then all of a sudden, about halfway through the playoffs that year, and I think it's when they beat the Chiefs, that fan base just sort of like all came out from underneath a rock. I'm so glad the Rams won that Super Bowl. Fan bases have a lot to do with how I view teams, and that just that's ridiculous, but it's true. Yeah.
Small reason why I kind of hate the Eagles. I think their fan base is probably the worst in the world.
I think those are just some of the worst human beings on the planet.
Yeah.
Like they booed and threw snowballs at Santa Claus, for God's sakes. Like they're just mean people.
Yeah.
They're just mean.
I watched a video when New England played him in the Super Bowl. It was like they saw a fan in the street and just all corralled around him and poured their beers on him. Like I'm getting the shit kicked out of me if that's me, but I'm getting a couple licks on my way down.
I gotta be honest with you, like I haven't been at a lot of very big sporting events where there's been championship stuff, and being in Canada, it's mostly hockey related. Like I see a guy in the stands and they're cheering for their team. I went to a World Junior Championship one year, and Canada was playing Russia in the semifinal, and it was an amazing game. And Russia won, and there was about 6 guys from Russia down below us. I just went up and shook the guy's hand and said, "Good game." After, like, I think that's like I should be able to cheer. True, but I do think that like there's some places, like I'm a Red Sox fan. Would I go into Yankee Stadium in my Red Sox gear? Probably not.
Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh for a game,
which I think is wrong.
Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh for a game the last time Brady won a Super Bowl in New England, and it was the same year. But Pittsburgh, it's like they all like, "Oh, Brady, you guys are going to beat us. You're going to kill us, blah, blah, blah." And then the game's over, and they won. And then, there's some obnoxious fans, but most of them were I'd say 99% of them were just regular people that were just happy to be there. Also, Pittsburgh's a pretty cool city.
We become fans of teams because of our parents, because of our favorite player, because of our geography, because of all these different things. It doesn't make us any better or any less. If someone likes Green Bay because they grew up in Wisconsin or their dad was a Packers fan, I don't hold it against them. I hope they lose, but I don't hold it against them. I'm a Vikings fan because of that guy. Warren Moon. That's why I'm a Vikings fan. Loved him growing up as a kid when he played in Canada. Then he went to the NFL. Houston fan because of that. And I'm a Minnesota fan. And so that's early 90s kind of thing. So Chig, I want nothing to do with Miami without Tua.
Yeah, I'll go with Chig on this one too. Yeah, but I went to a Cincinnati game when I was little, like probably 10 or 11, and the fans are just obnoxious after they got demolished. Like,
who's your dad's team?
My dad's a Cowboys fan. He grew up. I feel like a lot of people
in that era, right?
In the 50s are Cowboys fans.
Yeah, your dad and I are probably similar age, and it was America's team and all that other.
Yeah,
and I hated them.
Well, my dad had like an uncle. My dad had like an uncle or somebody that was a Cowboys fan, and that's why he became one. I became a Patriots fan because my grandma babysitted me when I was younger, and my aunt still lived with my grandma, and her boyfriend also lived there, and he was a big Patriots fan. And I'm around one guy that I'm around every day, 8 hours a day, wearing Patriots gear. Tom Brady's Patriots are all over ESPN because of Tom Brady. Early 2000s.
Easy.
I become a Patriots fan. It's not that, easy. And I don't remember why or who or what exactly, but I think there's just an accumulation of that because every morning before my dad would go to work, he'd put ESPN on the TV and he'd go into the bathroom and get ready so he could hear the ESPN. And I would just be sitting there waiting for him to take me to school or daycare or whatever. So it's like I'm just sitting there watching it.
So let this be a lesson to you young parents out there. Your daughter, my friend, is very influential with what you're doing these days. So get the Patriots off the TV so she can have a team that she likes to cheer for growing up.
I would be okay if my kid became a Bengals fan. I'd be okay with that, but I definitely don't want to.
I
like to root for Joe Burrow.
I love Joe Burrow. I need more people to be Bengals fans, but I need more rational, calm, level-headed people to be Bengals fans to drown out the blind, raged, idiotic Bengals fan. Like I got a few friends that are Bengals fans, like Sean Coffey, awesome dude, like humble guy, super awesome. That's the kind of guy I want the Bengals to win.
Is he a Bengal? He rides trains. Sean's the reason
no,
I got
Coffey's a Bengals guy. He's a Coffee guy.
He was man. So he was messing with me when he used to say he was a Giants fan.
Maybe he was. What do I know? But
I think maybe his girl is. Yeah, Sean's the reason I got into it. We worked together at BJ's, and we'd always talk about football. He's like, "Hey, you ever heard of this group? Join him on Facebook." We talk about fantasy football and stuff that all the time.
I miss Sean. I don't get to see him enough.
Yeah, I don't know what
he's a good dude.
I don't know what he does now. He doesn't work there anymore. He had some hip problems or knee problems or something.
He did. He had a pretty substantial hip replacement surgery, so hopefully he's doing well. Daddle or Spears? Spears for me.
Spears for me as well. I can't remember what I was talking about before that.
We were talking about fans.
Yeah.
Dad. You were saying you'd be okay if your daughter was a Bengals fan.
Oh, no. So Bengal fans are just, they always, when the Bengals are bad, NFL's rigged, right? So last week when the Steelers were losing, or was it Wednesday? The Steelers were losing to the Chiefs, and they were down 3 scores.
Yeah.
Right. Someone was like, "Why is Mike Tomlin not calling timeouts?" So like 3 minutes left in the game. It's like, dude, he's down 3 scores. Like,
right.
They're not gonna come back. He's not gonna waste any more time. And they're like, that because the over/under is why Vegas has control of these games. I was just thinking, do these people have no football awareness of like?
Did you watch? Did you watch the Bengals game yesterday?
I did, yes.
So when they ended up scoring on Burrow's sneak, was that the worst clock management in a long time that you've seen? Like, in my opinion, Denver never should have got the ball to even have the chance to tie that game. Like, what are the odds that Belichick and Brady in those days would have let Tom sneak one in with a minute and something left and then give up a tying score? Not a chance. They would have ground the hell out of that thing, and they would have kicked the last second field goal.
Yeah. I don't know. Why
McPherson doinked that in overtime, I thought, oh my God, they're going to lose this. And they should have. But
yeah, that touchdown catch also was very questionable. I mean,
the Mims one?
That one was I thought that's the one that gets called. That one's the one that gets kept, whatever it is on the field. Oh my goodness. Boone or Zacchaeus?
I think it's Boone. Zacchaeus is way too it's hard to predict what he's going to do, if anything. And Boone is at least going to split with Blackshear. So I think that it's Boone. It's not ideal, and I'm sorry that you're in a final and this is your choice. But you're in a final, I'm not. So yeah, I would say Boone.
I'll put Boone as well. It sucked for me because I had a parlay going, and the last leg I needed was 230 yards for Bo Nix, and he goes into overtime with 220 and can't get 10 yards in overtime.
Yeah,
killed me with 2 opportunities.
Yeah. I think I think you're right, Joe. And it screwed everything up, right? Like,
yeah, maybe just do one Xmas game or something. Maybe just one.
Like, we went from Monday finishing off semifinal week to 2 days later. It was like COVID all over again. But the Christmas Day game's not going anywhere. Netflix spent $75 million on both of those games.
They probably made a ton of money. Did you see what LeBron said? No. He said like Christmas is our day, and like the viewership was like so lopsided in favor of the NFL.
LeBron, it's not right. LeBron also thinks
close.
LeBron also thinks he was better than Jordan. So, but they paid $75 million for each game, and then they paid guys like from ESPN and CBS and all that other stuff. They paid these guys like a couple $100,000 just to do work that day.
Yeah, they did a good job. It was good.
We got to work harder, man. We got to be getting on these broadcasts. Like, I'll do it for half that.
Yeah. And maybe if I was a little bit prettier, get on there. I'm for East Coast of VA, or you have to be a veteran nowadays. Like, you have to be an NFL vet. Like, no, you're not going to see the days of like regular people working up in the sports industry. I think making it are gone. It's going to be now NFL retired players, and that's it. It's gonna be eventually just all retired players.
Well,
and then of course they're gonna have some women that are. And I no nothing against the women. They always seem knowledgeable. They're good at what they do. I told Delilah, I was like, I'm gonna friggin' teach her how to talk football. Like, she easily can work her way up to a friggin' top thing if she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And it's impossible. It's basically impossible for a guy to probably work in that industry and get to like the ESPN or CBS or anything like that.
It'd be tough. It'd be tough for sure because there's.
And I don't blame them. You get a player that played for 10 years and then they go and talk about. They have firsthand experience of what it's like out there. I get it. I get it.
There was a guy doing the commentary on the early game yesterday. I can't remember his name. Like Ross Taylor. I have no idea who this guy was. I've never heard him before, and I thought he was excellent. Like, I thought he was like spot on with all the stuff he was talking about. there's a ton of smart people up there. But I love the fact that the women have the opportunity to get into this business and succeed. Like some of my favorite people in NFL media are women. Like I think they're just smart and they're articulate.
Yeah, Erin Andrews is like she'll go down as one of the greats. Like
she's a GOAT. Yeah.
Yep. I'm for the East Coast VA. I'm for the East Coast VA. Most of my family in Washington, but I remember going to games as a kid. RFK. This was before Baltimore got a team back.
So Cody, how did you end up being an Atlanta fan?
East Coast of Virginia. From the East Coast of Virginia.
So most of his family are Washington fans. Makes sense going to RFK, that dump of a building. From what I'm told, never been there. It's just interesting. I just find it interesting how people become fans. Like I'm a Red Sox fan because I was on a trip one year and my dad.
It depends how old Cody is. If Cody's a little bit older than me, maybe he could. I mean, Michael Vick could easily be the reason. I don't remember watching Michael Vick too well. Like I was little. And I don't remember him too much. Like even early Brady days, I remember watching it. When I started to really get into football was when I started playing fantasy football in all reality. And it's easy to remember the exact year. It was 2007 because that's when Brady and Moss played together and broke the record for most.
Michael Vick was unlike anything anybody had ever seen before. He had a cannon of an arm. And he ran like the frickin' wind, and he was huge, right?
Open the door for guys like Lamar.
Yeah, like Jaden Daniels is probably the closest thing to it, but he doesn't have the size that Vic had. It's not even a conversation. And again, I have no time for flat earthers and people that think LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I don't know enough about basketball to really care.
All right, dude, we got 20 minutes to kick off. This is it. I want to wish you luck in all 4 of your championship games.
Yeah, only 2 of them I care about. But
you want to win them all. Let's be real.
Yeah, I do, just for the bragging rights. But since I split the money, I'm all about the money. That's all I care about.
That's fair.
Sounds terrible, but
transparency is important.
Yeah,
but even more important than wishing you luck, I want to say thanks. This has been fun this year. This has been good.
Yep, I'll be back next year.
Yeah,
I can't be back every Sunday, but I will be back.
I'll be back if they have me. So
Ideally, I'd be working in a department by then. So every 3 Sundays, I'd have to work. So
that's pretty damn cool for you and your family. I hope that works out for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll probably do some off-season stuff. There you go. Oh, we both did it at the same time. Yeah, Andre Rison was badass. Right, Bad Moon Rising. He was a pretty good dude. Mm-hmm. So that was, and they had some pretty good teams back in the day. I think Glanville was coaching way back 100 years ago. But hey, I'm an old man. I just turned 55 years old. Oh, super chat! Woo!
Last minute, good timing.
I think with Pickett, I got to go with BTJ here. Pickett at quarterback. Tough to sit in.
That is rough, man. But I think Mac Jones has been a godsend for Brian Thomas Jr.'s fantasy production.
He wasn't exactly bad with Trevor Lawrence.
He wasn't, but he's like super consistent with. He's way more consistent with. And I think the loss of Evan Ingram also helps Brian Thomas Jr.
I was just going to say that. I think as soon as Ingram went down, Mac Jones went. So you're the guy I'm going to throw the football to.
Yep.
So
you're the other big dude. You like throwing to big body wide receivers.
Yeah. He got a raw deal in New England, but you guys came out better on the other end of it. So,
yeah, I think it worked out for both of us.
Kind of like we were talking about in chat. There, that it kind of looked like Belichick wanted to get rid of Jones and Kraft didn't let him. So that's interesting.
I think Jones is not a leader of men, and I think Belichick saw that early. I think that he might be okay as an actual player, but I don't think he's a very good leader. He did some dirty stuff for New England too. He was kicking people in the nuts. He was twisting ankles. I didn't like it. I didn't like that. Twisting Brian Burns. He was twisting Brian Burns' ankle after an interception or something like that. Yeah, it's just dirty. He kind of dirty. Yeah, look up some of the stuff Mac Jones did. He was doing some dirty stuff. Always crying.
Just before we bail here, it says considering weather, so I got to look at the weather here real quick. So we've got a perfectly fine day in Philly.
Hmm.
In Jacksonville, we've got. Go ahead and answer this question. I'll get to it.
Picking one: Mooney, Reed, Smith, or Blackshear.
It's not
Devontae
Blackshear.
It sure isn't.
It's between Mooney and Reed for me here.
I'll go Mooney.
I don't think there's any problem with any of the weather. It's 72 degrees in Jacksonville with a little bit of 8-mile-an-hour wind, and it's 63 degrees with a 14-mile-an-hour wind in Philly. So, no, I'm sticking with BTJ. I think I would go because of quarterback play, because I think Minnesota is going to leave the middle of the field as the place to beat them, because Reed needs to bounce back. I go with Reed.
Man.
Reed's my guy.
Reed's definitely your ceiling play. I will say that.
Definitely. And I'd say Mooney's your floor. Actually, Blackshear might be the floor. But
I don't know. I don't like the. I think
can't
split backfield there.
I'm not this late in the year. I'm not screwing around with it. So, and Smith's too inconsistent, especially with the backup quarterback.
All righty, that's it. We're done.
Good luck to everyone.
Yep, join our Facebook page, Roto Heat Dynasty Fantasy Football. You can ask questions there all year round, off-season questions, anything like that. Make sure you guys join that. And then, just keep an eye out for stuff. We won't be going live anymore Sundays. I can tell you that. But
nope. Bryce
we might put some off-season content for rookies. I don't know how active I'll be in there. I'll be definitely active in the Facebook page, though.
Bryce is always active on Facebook. So am I. We also have a really good Discord channel that I'm not that active on.
That's kind of died out a lot. The Discord has. But Facebook has got questions on there every day. It's awesome. It's a good.
We're going to start. At least I'm going to start my rookie stuff now, since I don't have a championship to worry about this week. Not that I'm bitter about it at all. But yeah, come back again. We appreciate you all. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Click the notification bell. There will be off-season content. We're just a little bit in flux right now. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be there. So thanks for being such a great part of our Sundays all year. We got a really good, dedicated crew here, so we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yep. Good luck, guys. See ya.
Go get them.